Hey, this is Adrian Singleton, and welcome to the podcast Beyond Lean. Today, I know that you all came in. Lean is a waste of my time. I'm just playing with you. I really want to talk to you today about why should you add lean certification to your background. So many people see that I travel across the world. I'm always in China, I'm in Mexico, I'm in Europe, I'm in Paris, I'm in different places. And people think I just travel just to be traveling. But there's a reason why I travel to so many different countries, so many different industries, because lean has given me the opportunity to have such a great lifestyle that gives me the chance to see so many different industries, so many different people, and connect with so many different minds. So adding lean to my background and adding lean to your background, I'm gonna tell you why is lean so important to add to your background. Sometimes it is super surprising to me that so many people have never heard of lean. To be quite frankly honest with you, when I first heard lean, I thought it was an exercise program because I just love to work out. But once I had a sensei, which is somebody who specializes in a skill, to spend time with you, I began to see that this practice and the principles that you learn are really the key to transform a business, but also to transform the people that are in the business. So I coined a statement, P2, that I say people first and process second. So why is lean certification so important to you? I'm gonna give you 5 benefits of why lean can work in the industry. Think about this. Who are the most influential people in the business that has the idea of everything that goes on in every industry? You see so many different processes. You work with so many different people. You see so many different failures, and you develop eyes to be able to see what we call waste. It is no other people other than lean practitioners. And the reason why we're at the top of the value chain financially and in terms of being problem solvers is because we see so many different processes. We see multiple processes more than anybody in the company because you work across all industries. Just say, for instance, in manufacturing, you have the manufacturing process, you have the inputs and the outputs, and a good lean practitioner knows every single process within the business. So the great thing about adding the Lean Six Sigma certification to your background is because you can cross over into many different industries. Even myself, I've worked in like 9 or 10 different industries intentionally. When I first learned the application of lean, I knew that I needed to improve my skill set across the board. So I had to be able to cross the board and go over into different countries to utilize the same practices, to utilize the same principles, but it gave me the same results. Then I had to make sure that as I did it in different nationalities, can I use the same principles in different industries? I proved that out. Then once I used it in different industries, I had to prove that I can walk up and be promoted at a higher level and do it at a much higher level because some lean practitioners only get stuck at a managerial level, but I've been fortunate to be able to break through to the executive level, and one day I'm gonna be at the C-suite or a chief lean officer because of the skill set I have. So let me tell you 5 benefits of why this works in the industry. It makes you more valuable to employers. Why is this? Lean teaches you how to improve processes, eliminate waste, drive efficiency, and skills every company wants. Because why do you have a job? When you look on LinkedIn, you looked on Indeed, you looked in some of the job markets, why do jobs hire individuals? Because they're looking for individuals that can solve a problem. Either you have people problems, you have growth problems, you have industry problems, you have the industry is shifting, you have different businesses that are coming up, you have data centers, you have AI, you have a lot of different things that's taking place. So the reason why people are hired is because they're really trying to find someone to have the expertise to solve their problem. And a person with Lean Six Sigma, you learn how to solve problems at any level, but you do it at the level of working through people. You do it at the level of working with people. And so your value goes to a different level because if you have so many different processes and so many different industries, it always leverages from business to business because Every single company has the same exact thing, and they all have processes. There's no difference in a hospital and a Nike store. There's no difference between a restaurant and a Shell station. There's no difference. Why? Because every single industry has a process. They have a customer that they have to serve. They have products that they have to bring in. They have to do something to the product and present it in a presentable way to the customer to make an exchange of finances so that they can gain a certain amount of gross profit from their product because they are all running a process. And so as a lean thinking person, as a practitioner, you become valuable because you know all of these different processes. So some of the applicable industries that you could think about: manufacturing needs Lean Six Sigma certification. You think about, you can work in the healthcare field, you can work in finance. I've been tied to the hip with a chief accounting officer because the days sales outstanding, we didn't have the right cash flow. So I had to figure out how do we increase our cash flow. So finance is definitely needed. Logistics. Thinking about this. Do you know that once upon a time when Amazon first got started, they didn't always have 2-day shipments. They didn't always have a 24-hour turnaround of shipments. Amazon, believe it or not, used to be 14 days. Think about FedEx. It used to take a long time to get a product from this location to the customer. But now all of a sudden, you can get a product in 2 days. So how did it happen? Because they have a person like myself or like you that's practicing to become a Lean Six Sigma practitioner that's in the background working on their processes to reduce their lead time. So logistics, tech, think about AI. It's somebody with a certification that understands the process of increasing tech, speeding up the process of tech. Think about how things speed up so much more faster. And if you think about on the tech side, you have what we call lean agile when you run different sprints to create e-commerce, but it's all the same exact thing, increasing the lead time to satisfy the customer faster and have a better quality product. Also in retail, think about when you go to different stores. There's a major difference in going into a TJ Maxx or a Ross or going to a Nordstrom store. There's a different level of organization. Think about Walmart. Walmart has certain things organized. You go to the electronics location, you go to the food location, all the food, you have your breads in one location, you have your milks in one location. There are certain processes set up to streamline the flow of products through that store so customers can be satisfied so much more faster. Even now, think about this. I went to Walmart this past week and I couldn't find a parking lot. Why? Because now majority of the parking lot, I would say about 15% of the parking spots are now for those that can drive up and have their product delivered directly to the car. That's the speed of the product to the customer. There is someone in the background that has a certification and understand the practices of Lean Six Sigma and know how to improve processes to serve the customer so much more faster. So number 2, it helps you stand out from other candidates. Anytime you're applying for a role, companies are looking for people that are great problem solvers. Whenever you have the Lean Six Sigma certification, they know that you have been proven to go through the practice and the exercise to create a discipline of standard work to be able to improve processes for a very long time. And not only to be able to improve the processes, but to be able to sustain them. It does no good to improve a process one time if you can't sustain it for 6 months to 12 months, because a company always have competition getting better. They're getting faster. They're getting bigger. And if you don't have that person in the background that's always working on the problems that the business have, then eventually the market share will be stolen from you and you can start to lose business. And if a company lose business, guess what? They can normally go out of business or file bankruptcy because they're not getting better. Think about this. Some of the stores back in the day, if you think about Circuit City was one of the best tech stores I used to love to go to in the past. They decided not to change. They kept their process the same. But when you have stores like Best Buy that came into place that started changing the entire game in terms of how to service the customers, Circuit City was no longer needed. Think about this. Even Best Buy became a target when Amazon came because a lot of the same products you went into Best Buy, sometimes they didn't have it in stock. But you can go to Amazon and get the same product for 10, 15% less, and then Amazon has it in stock. So how did Best Buy combat this? Best Buy started doing price matching. Hey, if you find it on Amazon and it's a better price, we'll match the price or we'll beat the price. So they had to set themselves up because Amazon always has lean practitioners in the background adding value that they hired into their business that stands out higher than other candidates that's always working on a problem. So think about this. A certification separates you from people with similar resumes because it proves initial and specialized knowledge. Anytime a company knows that you have specialized knowledge to solve their problems, you would never have to worry about a job again. I had a mentor of mine who told me that, listen, once you become a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt, Adrian, never worry about finding a job again. You would easily find a job because every single company in the world, they're always looking for problem solvers. So think about this. The positioning that this certification gives you, it helps you during interviews because you get a chance to properly know how to talk through how did I solve a problem and how did that problem sustain. Number two, it makes my resume so much more stronger because most people want individuals that can solve problems. Number two, it shows commitment to self-development. Now, if I think about employees I want to bring in, the employees that I bring in, and I've hired so many different employees, if I see that they have a motivation to work on themselves outside of the normal business hours, then I know they're self-motivated. I don't have to worry about them because they want to develop themselves. So the Lean Six Sigma certification, it forces you to work and develop yourself and commit to understanding the principles and the practices. And in order to be certified, you have to have a very good project that proves that you know how to implement and make the tools applicable to your life in a real life situation. So when a person sees that you have a certification, they know that you're willing to put in the work. They know that you're ambitious about improving yourself. They know that you're ambitious about being promoted. They know that you have an ambitious love for reducing waste and solving problems. So number three, I've been saying problem solving a lot because the world will always need problem solvers. It builds your problem solving skills. Now, I've ran over 300 Kaizen events at this stage of my life because I've been doing this for 25, 26 years. But I remember every single Kaizen event I went into. A Kaizen event is when we take 1 week with different experts, different mindsets, bring them into one room to solve one problem. And you have different functions of people that can see the problem from different angles so that everyone can get on one page to go true north, but just to solve that problem. So a Kaizen event sometimes can be nervous because you are in a room with CEOs, with vice presidents, and sometimes with people that have been doing the job for a very long time. But throughout the process, when you solve the problem, think about this. If I stated that I've ran 300 Kaizen events, and in every single Kaizen event, you're going to at least solve 5 to 10 problems. Think about the amount of experience I built over the time. And when somebody asks me a story about solving a problem, give me proof during your interview of how did you solve this problem. I can give them 1,000 different examples. And my examples can be practical to the issues that I have in every single day because I know that I've built my problem solving skills and therefore this skill can never be taken away, but I can use it in any industry. So think about this. In building problem solving skills, you know how to do a few things. You know how to analyze a root cause. You know how to get to the root of the issue, and you know how to solve the issue at the root. Number two, you know how to improve so many different systems because every single company has a system of processes to be able to drive change. But if it's a stagnant system, then you're the person to come in to help improve the system without them purchasing other systems that cost millions of dollars, but just one idea from you leading a team can help save millions and millions of dollars. Number three, you can make easy data-driven decisions. Most lean practitioners, when you get your Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt, we know how to read data. We know how to follow the data. We know how to make decisions based off of data. Why? Because the data gives us the facts. The data gives us the DNA of the business, just like when you go to a doctor. The doctor just don't diagnose you with certain illnesses and give you medicine when you walk through the door. They ask you a series of questions. They ask you about your family history. They ask you, did you travel out of the country? Did you do certain things? Why are they asking you these questions? They're trying to collect data so they can make a decision based off of the facts of the questions and how you answer them. So as a lean practitioner, we know how to ask the right questions depending on the business problem and how do we solve it, so that when we make a decision, we have the confidence that we know how to solve the problem, but also we can give you a ROI on the time that we take. And the ROI is a return on the investment of time, so that you can improve your results with a standardized problem that we solve. So the last thing too as well is you have an opportunity to think strategically about how do I solve a problem. Every single idea that was created in the room of Kaizen. Kaizen stands for good change in Japanese. So how do I create a good change with strategic thinking? Think about this. How do we have a rocket to leave the earth, for one? It took critical thinking. How do we have somebody to create the electric car with Tesla? It created thinking. How do we have somebody to create the lights in this room? It was somebody with thinking. There was a problem. Somebody had to strategically think through it. They had to test it, try it, and put it in place. When it finally worked, they put a framework around it. So you are a strategic thinker to solve problems. Number 4, it opens so many doors to so many opportunities. It's at a point now that when you're a great practitioner, you have so many calls for opportunities and new jobs that when you are committed to one job, sometimes it can be hard for you to commit to the job because so many people are looking for good lean practitioners. Now, let me note this to you. There are thousands of lean practitioners that are in the world, but there are a handful that know how to drive change and drive change at the business level so that the CEO can see the problem on his P&L. Only a few. Some individuals just go and get certification from a self-trained course or self-developed course or self-paced course, but the true practitioners have mentors that show them the tools, help them understand the tool, and make the tools applicable, and then force them to apply the tools to results. It's a different level. When you learn that level of expertise as a lean practitioner, then you would never worry about a job and people will come chasing after you. So the higher you go in leadership, the more your job becomes more about improving systems, not just doing tasks. Systems are ingrained in every single business to improve an automatic system, or as the ERP system, the automated system. How do you get paid? Think about when you get paid. Majority of the time, you have a check that automatically comes to you. Think about your health benefits. It comes to you automatically. You just fill out the paper. There's somebody from a CI team that develop a process of automation so that you don't have to do everything manual. So why does this matter? Lean helps prepare you for supervisory roles, manager roles, director roles, and executive roles. And if you are in a position like me, I've never been some of those positions. I've been a manager, but I went straight from being a manager to an executive vice president because I learned the tools, but I learned them at a business level way so that it shows up at the P&L. So number 5, my last one is this. It increases, everybody clap about this, your income potential. Don't you know the average Lean Six Sigma, yellow belt, and green belt makes at least $135,000 a year? And that's not including bonus. Most of them receive a 25% or 30% bonus, and then they have long-term incentives. So just think about this. As a Lean Six Sigma, when I was a Lean Six Sigma green belt, I made about $135,000 a year. I had a bonus of 30%, and then I had a $50,000 LTI long-term incentive that was dropped in my account every year because of my background. So it is a very lucrative opportunity to learn lean because you're so valuable, because you can be used in any industry. So think about this. When you can help save companies money, increase their efficiency, and solve problems, your earning potential raises. You don't never worry about income again. You become so valuable that you can negotiate your salary. But it's not just about money. For me, Lean gave me a way of life to provide a very good life for my family. It gave me a way of life to have a balance to where I can travel and do certain things, but still be effective on my job. So it took me out of the regular lifestyle of a 9 to 5, and it really made me feel like an entrepreneur, like I own my own business because I was on my own time. But it also gave me the joy of working with so many great people because I have this certification. So some of the credibility that Lean certification professionals often move into, they normally move into CROs. If you take your time now and look on LinkedIn, look how many jobs, and just type in LEAN, lean. Look how many jobs are available in the world of business right now looking for lean practitioners. It will blow your mind. And now certain companies are getting bold by placing the salaries. If you look at some of the salaries, you see some salaries even at a lean champion role, which is one of the lowest roles you can get. Sometimes they make 75 to 90,000 a year. If you look at a lean manager role can come in, they can make 150 to 165. It all depends. So if you look on LinkedIn and just type in lean, you'll be shocked and surprised how many jobs are available, what are the salaries they give them, and guess what? Every single lean role guaranteed to have a bonus. Most CI roles are guaranteed to have LTI, so that it creates a very good opportunity for you to increase your income because they know that you're a problem solver and you get a chance to pay for yourself times 5 times. So think about this. CROs, operational leadership, project managers, and then consultant. I've done them all because of my background. So think about this. Lean is not just for manufacturing. It's a mindset, a skill set that teaches you how to create value, solve problems, and lead improvements in any environment. So I want you to think about this. Industries may change, technology may change, but one thing every company will always need is people who can improve performance and solve problems. My name is Adrian Singleton. Thank you for joining me for this series of Beyond Lean. I'll see you on the next series.